Hey Dito, do you know what time it is?
Yes, I do, KT, but I don't think we can make jerky out of that.
Oh, well, in this episode, we talk about Hoover vacuums and Dynamite drink now comes in cans. Yeah. And no nom noms for you. All that coming up, all that and more coming up. It's time for the Ktdata Anime Podcast with Dito and Ktdata. The Ktdata Anime Podcast is brought to you by sitting next to a fighting couple on a plane, totally ruining the experience of being the first one to board. Welcome everybody, welcome to the Ktdata Anime Podcast. I just said welcome twice. I am Ktdata, Mr. Redundant, and the guy next to me is...
I'm Dito, and you're gonna have to explain that whole situation about the plane.
Okay, so... if you guys didn't know, I took a vacation, and on my way back, I was on the so I had 2 layovers and 3 planes to fly on. First 2 went out okay. The last plane coming into Salt Lake out of Phoenix, which was the longest leg out of all of them. I was all excited since I checked in from pretty far away. I was in the A group boarding group, so I'm like, yes. I've never been in the boarding group. I've never been one of the first ones in. I'm like, I'll be able to pick a good seat that I want in. I don't have to ask anybody if it's taken or not because it's not. And so I go get a nice little aisle seat and everything because I'm like, I want to just get out of here and go home after this 2-hour flight because I'm tired and I've already been in the air for 3. So I come in, I sit down, like, hopefully I'll have somebody friendly right next to me or not or something. This couple comes by, and the guy's like, are the seats taken? I'm like, no, go ahead. And, they looked nice enough. What I didn't see is that when they got in, one had a newborn child with them. And I was like, okay, he's asleep. I have my Sonomax ears. I'll put those in and not worry about it. But unfortunately, after the plane was starting to take off, the 2 got into an argument, and you could hear them pretty loudly. So even when I put the headphones in, people surrounding me could hear them fight. And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, I don't know these people. I'm trying to just...
It sounds very lovely. It sounds like a very lovely trip you just had.
That would have been a perfect flight if it wasn't just for that. Anyways.
Well, some good news for you, KT. If everyone remembers last week, we mentioned about having a Renan plush. You know how KT wanted a Renan plush. I just found won the license for that. One of my comrades on Figure FM does hand knitted plushes of anime plushes, so to speak. I licensed her to make us one. So in maybe about a month or so, KT, you're going to be getting yourself a Renan plush.
Yay! Yes. Does she come with the hot redhead?
I don't think so, but if you persuade her, she might.
So
maybe.
What's gonna happen when I get injured or something? Then I'm not gonna have anybody to save me.
Maybe we should save that for for our next show.
I might not be around for the next show. I'm looking at my health right now. So if you guys have not watched this podcast before, I say this every show, and what episode is it? Episode 5? Dude, Dito, we've done like 10 episodes already. 2 seasons. That's crazy.
5 and 2 seasons. Episode 5 of the 2nd season, guys.
Yeah. So what we do here is we watch some animes, and in my case, usually it's the day of when we're supposed to record, and then we talk about them. Warning to all: you have a lot of spoilers, and
a lot.
Clothes may be taken off during the broadcast. So, yeah.
Huh?
Anyways, let's jump into our first anime. If I could press the button. No. And our first anime is Guilty Crown, and it's brought to you by Syringe Needles when you need your second dose.
For everyone who's been following up with us, last time, Shu stages an attack that get everyone out of their red wall of death. Guy proceeds to come back and decides to lob off Shu's arm and make a missile with people. And Inri kicks some serious ass.
Yeah, and it's finally, you can tell they're in their own home stretch right now. And I'm excited to see where they go with this. It's really interesting, and let's just hope they don't relive Ava all over again.
Which is a very good point there, because our first scene we get with Guilty Crown was Guy talking to what looks to be eyebrows and pulls out his void, which is still to be explained what the hell that is.
It's like this.
Yes. Just like that.
Just like that. We don't know what it is, but it does that. So, I don't know what's going on. But we see
seizure.
We see Shu's mom, lady whatnot that looks like she may have betrayed her son, hacking into some room, and it turns out that she was gonna try and go kill Inari/Mana, since they're all one body these days. Because that's what you kids do. And she goes in, totally empty. And what's his face, the general dude, is suddenly behind her, and she's like, "She was never in here at all." And
it was Sharich. Oh God, I wrote it right here, because you know how everyone here knows I suck at pronouncing stuff. Sharich. Yes, Sharichu. Yeah, that's what I wrote down there, and that's about what I can get to. But she's like Sharichu.
I just wanted
that's
you
what
to
his
struggle with
his name. Anyways.
Yeah, but we find out that Shu's mom, which her name is Haruka, we'll be saying it a lot.
Haruka.
Yeah.
Haruka. We've been saying Haruka a lot, because she's actually a pretty main character in this, in the rest of this development, actually.
Yeah. We find out her and Sharichi are family, brother and sister. Yeah, Sriracha. I'm gonna call him Sriracha.
There we go. Let's
put Sriracha. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna call him Sriracha from now on. Why not? We already got a character in Ano who we go Tetsuo.
Yeah, we killed his name like 20 times already. Let's just go with it now.
I'm going with Sriracha. So Haruka and Sriracha are not friends, they're family. And then what happened? We also find out that Haruka, who we think is Shu's biological mother, not so much. She's really his stepmom, and they, she after Shu's dad dies, she ends up taking care of him.
For the backstory on this one, because they actually go in a pretty well backstory, we'll just kind of like throw into a little nutshell here. Shu's dad, Kuroshu, was a research scientist that was developing the theories about be able to manipulate humans and DNA structures, where he met up with
playing God, what you will, as some people will say.
Yeah, basically playing God. Here we go, our Evangelion thing, playing God. And our Sriracha, since we're going to be destroying his name even more, was a lab scientist in the same university as him. Those two kind of hit it off because of one of his reports he wrote. So from there, they both got in this research team. From later on, Kuroshu ended up meeting up with what's now Shu's mother. For that, they had Mana. Then after that, a meteorite fell which contained the apocalypse virus that Mana discovered and also was
Kind of
infected by.
cut by a little bit, you know.
Cut by, I just say
Because
infected.
that's
But
one
yes,
thing kids do, you know. They like to touch things.
pierce, and it's like, cut their finger, because they had to go touch it, like all kids do. From there, that's the keystone, basically. That's a meteorite is a keystone into them actually be able to manipulate human DNA and everything, and actually be able to unlock the evolution code, supposedly, of humans.
Mm-hmm.
And everything said and done, we have Kirshu's wife already infected by apocalypse virus, pregnant with Shu, and the last effort that she got was to give birth to Shu and Ener and Mana. Sorry, I keep on thinking because they are the same person, mind you. Mana already pretty much decided that, yeah, Shu's gonna be my Adam.
Oh yeah, that's not dirty on so many levels.
In a nutshell, of course, a little bit more has happened there, but after that, after Shu's mom died, they met up with Haruka. Shu's dad met up with Haruka. They got married a little bit time later, but here's the kicker, guys. Here's the kicker. The year they're married, the first Christmas, guess what happens? It's
Santa Claus?
It's a lost Christmas. Yeah, how can that not be the best Christmas ever? Like, going with your family, your new family you just barely got into, and it just goes to hell.
Yes.
Your first Christmas.
Oh, what a lovely family Christmas. Think of the Christmas card they had that year, Just cancer cells all around them and everything. I see what you did there.
Oh, we're going to hell for that one.
You clever one, you. If you want to complain, email Kita at ktdata.net. So, and then we cut back. So, after this, everybody's escaped, and you kind of think they probably went their separate ways and whatnot. It turns out that it looks like the former Undertakers, they're kind of more divided out now. They're in multiple locations, and in the one location they're at, Shu's mom's running because what happens in the episode is she actually steals a suitcase, which will tell you what's in it later. But she goes to the Undertakers, or what's left of them at least. The lady that she left.
The remnants.
Yeah, the remnants. But the one lady that Arisa's grandfather left in charge of the mansion and everything, she's kind of head of that area, right? Of that safe house, would you say? And
yeah.
So the GHQ, they plan an attack on it, and it's the one crazy dude, and he does the dirtiest thing ever. Is he spreads a rumor saying that there's vaccine in there, and so he has all these innocent people go in, but behind him are him and then two fully armed GHQ soldiers, and then they walk in, and right when Ogumo, the big guy, he opens the door, he sees them at the end. They just open fire on everybody in there, like literally annihilating everybody on there. And then Ogumo, to save Shu's mom, takes at least 3 bullets in the back while trying to push her over in a pillar. And he's like, "Oh, run, get out of here!" And what he does is pretty much takes out the 2 guys that have machine guns on them, essentially. And he goes after the crazy guy, but the crazy guy just sends the knife right through him.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I would say this much too. Ogumo, he couldn't have died a better way. To be honest, to be seriously honest on this itself, he had probably one of the best deaths. Because not only did he take out 2 guys, he sent them flying, almost got the head asshole, so to speak, and almost got him. I really think that's probably one of the best deaths so far.
Yeah. And then it cuts to this next scene, and I don't know. Dito, you're going soft on me. You seriously are going soft on me on this next scenario.
Okay, so I know we've mentioned in the past multiple times and how much we don't like Yahiro, and we now see him with with the other remnants of the surviving group that got away from the GHQ on that last raid when they got Shu and everything, and he actually seems to be a very tolerable character. I mean, it looks like he kind of like learned his lesson, is starting to try to reform because he's actually caring about everybody. Trying to provide them safety, trying to provide them help, trying to get them all because right now they have what Sota's is the stage 3 of the apocalypse virus, and he's been trying to seek help for him. So,
He's such a
yes, I think I might be getting soft, but
he's
but
still
he's
such
still
a
an ass.
he's a filler character, Dito. Like
I
seriously,
know.
every
Okay,
single
that's the worst part.
like
That is like the worst part. It's like as much as I really don't like this character, he sort of kind of shined a little in this, and this is so brief.
no, I don't.
This little brief of clip of him.
I still hate him. I still hate him. He's like it's like the animators tried to save money on hiring additional voice actors, and whatever they need to play that they don't have already, guess who gets to play that role? I mean, he's done it throughout the whole entire anime already, so why not keep him going on doing that?
Yeah, I know.
But
But because of this, at this point, once we saw like Haruka running around the case and everything, and then shows off what's in the case was, another void genome.
there's only 3 made.
Yeah, and so right here is just pretty much you and everyone here, anyone who's watched this itself saw this coming. We know what's going to happen, who's going to get it, but it's a matter of how it gets to them. But we did learn something new about the whole void genome thing, is that as much power as it grants you, it also hurts you. Like, it can kill you.
If you haven't figured that out already, Shu's kind of down in limb. I'm just saying.
Well, that wasn't really that was more because of someone than something.
Well,
anyways,
he lost a limb in the end.
Yeah.
But
at this point, you see this big battle take place because our psychopath general, which I think now that he actually has found a purpose, like his so-called answer he's been searching for this entire time, he found it, and now he was in the process of trying to get the void genome back from Haruka. And that's one of the reasons why you see him so aggressive in this last episode. And I found that to be like, wow, he's really pulling out all the stops just to get this. And this giant attack that happens, how do we explain this? It was just like, how many of them was Shu? Not Shu. It was Yahiro, Sota.
Pretty much everybody who's been introduced.
Yeah, pretty much all of them.
Yeah, everybody who was at the school and the remaining Undertakers, essentially.
Yeah, they were all trying. They're trying to get. Well, essentially, they didn't want to use the void genome for anything because now that they found out how much Shu went through all that pain from using it. But
yeah, it's crazy because the general's like, "Don't hold back, boys. Just go at them full, guns are roaring. Like you don't need to hold back." So he's pretty much blowing anything that moves up, or attempting to blow everything that moves up. And there's a struggle for the genome. This is stupid. It goes down an escalator. Which I thought was stupid, and you see what's her face in the wheelchair, like do this crazy bullet dodging and sliding down the handle of the escalator.
Of all the things, because for anyone who's ever slid down rails and everything, have you ever tried to chest slide?
Yeah, and you're a guy. You don't have boobs either.
Yeah, we don't have padding.
Yeah, that's got to make it even more difficult. But of course, it falls down. Looks like she's got it, but then of course it gets shot away, and Who in the world would ever get their
And
hands on this?
who would ever miss? Whoever didn't see this coming, I'm sorry. You really need
Have you
to
not been
like,
watching this anime
yeah,
from the
yeah.
previous
You really
episodes?
need to review this anime a lot better because Shu picks it up,
'Cause,
and
yeah. I mean, come on, this
he's just sitting there going
anime.
like, and he already knows too. I mean, he sees Haruka up there and everything, and actually calls her for the first time mother.
Yes.
And you can see that he's already come to terms with everything that is going on and knows the full extent of what the void genome does. Then, like you would take most medicine, like most syringes, not just say, well, you don't take most syringes to the heart, because that's what you did.
And after he does that, well, since he's not, he decides to grope himself. And what do you think his void would be, Dito? He's only missing an arm right now.
That's a funny thing too, because as soon as I was watching the opening credits, it clicked. Am I going? That's what's going to happen. He's going to get a void arm.
Yeah.
And sure enough, but then that's the thing too. It's not just the arm that he gets. What Shu's void actually is he takes upon any person's strengths, weaknesses,
the good, the
likes,
bad, the ugly.
it
Yeah.
takes all one person's void and stores it, and he uses it at his own will.
Yeah. It reminds me of Peter or Siler, depending on if you want the good or the bad side from Heroes, where they just absorb powers in their own unique ways. One of them killing them. But that's what happens. I'm just sitting here. This wasn't predictable at all, right? As much as I love this anime, it's one of the most predictable ones.
Yes, it is. But I love it. I just love being right. But then that every so often it just turns. It just gives that twist. That going. I wasn't really expecting that.
Yeah. So, and then it cuts off to a scene where, again, back to the Ava stuff. You see Inori / Mana chained on a cross.
I wouldn't really call it chain. I'd say more like frozen with a void.
Well, yeah, she's like
something,
hanging off of it too. It doesn't look like she's holding on. She's hanging off of it. So.
Oh yeah, but then she's like encased by that void crystallization, whatever it is.
And when Guy's talking to her, you think it would be Inori's voice, but no, it's actually Mana's voice, and she's like, "I'm getting stronger right now." So here we're having this, the fake body clone versus the original intent recipient of this body battle, where they're going with each other, and you can see that Inori's getting weaker because Mana's having easier time just taking control.
And this is kind of where reveals more backstory with Guy now. Is Surichu's or Sriracha? After the whole death, because he actually killed Shu's dad, bolt to the head and everything.
Mm-hmm.
After stealing his research notes and everything, and trying to finding out that essentially what's going on is that Mana and Shu was going to be Adam and Eve. So he decided to create his own Project Adam, I guess. And they never really specified a project name. I'm just kind of like throwing one out there now.
Yeah, he essentially wanted to create his own Adam instead of the one that Eve picked, which happens to make them siblings.
Yeah, you know how that works.
Yeah.
But Guy was originally raised for that purpose, along with I think it was 3 others.
Well, I think it was like a whole farm of them. Like they essentially what happened was Sriracha would just find orphaned kids that nobody would miss, and do what it looked like crazy experiments. And it looks like that Guy was the only one that really survived. And the only reason he survived is because he ran away and fell into the ocean.
And a turn of fate, if you will, meets up with Shu and Mana. Then we all know the story from there.
We remember that cutscene, so that's how Guy ended up washing up on an ocean or on a beach, not on an ocean, on a beach somewhere.
From the ocean.
Yeah, from the ocean. So
yeah, that's the reason why they got Trident or Triton.
Yeah.
Triton, yes, not Trident, Triton.
Triton. And so after that, so that makes sense how Guy relates to any of this whatsoever. Full circle. And then it goes back into a little bit more in depth of how Shu's dad fits into all of this along with Sriracha. And actually how Haruka was ended up being Shu's stepmom and whatnot. Go watch the episode. There's a lot of backstory, and it's kind of boring, but not really.
No, the backstory I don't think is that boring.
Yeah.
It actually it's very interesting if you're actually following the story.
Yeah. But it would sound boring.
Probably the least predictable thing you would see.
Yeah.
But this is where it gets a little boring. Actually, is that they cut to Shu. He was going to try to return their voids because, which originally I thought is he made copies of them and kept them, but he just stores them and he's going to give them back
up like
to
a vacuum.
everybody. Yeah, he just he's like a hoover. But
I'm gonna call it that, his hoover arm.
His hoover arm. There you go, KT. That's a good name. Yep. Anyways. At this point, when he tried to absorb, when he got everyone's void, he ended up taking Shota's apocalypse virus that now is on him. So he cured Shota, so to speak. But because of what Shota did to Shu, he feels guilty and everything. And Shu's trying to make up a Shota because he doesn't want to leave off going somewhere, going to fight this battle and everything, and having just such negative emotions for one of his friends.
And then you go,
this right here is very to me. I just found a little necessary, but kind of like just get it over with.
I know, just get it over with, but no. And then the episode ends pretty much right there. But the one thing I want to tell you, because everybody expects Shu to die because he's absorbing all the cancer cells and whatnot. How much money do you want to bet, Dito, that this ends with Inori singing some crazy song and healing Shu, and then they live happily ever after?
That's too predictable. I'm gonna put my money on that Shu will end up
recreating the world and combining all the girls into one.
Somehow Shu's going to absorb mana, so to speak, and explode. No, that's not it.
Are you sure
I really don't know where this is going to go, to be honest.
I'm saying it's going to be that, or he's going to combine all the girls that he's known, and then they're going to become one girl, and it's going to become one big Tenchi. Yeah, and then the girl's going to wash up on a beach somewhere, and he's going to find her, and then that's the end of it.
And I feel some kind of Evangelion ending coming up with this, to be honest.
Oh, anyways, now on a show that's sort of predictable, but I laugh so hard in this is our next one right here. And our next anime is Ano Natsu de Machiru, and it's brought to you by
Cosplay made cans-nya because it's Dynamite.
Oh, I was really hoping you got the nya.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do that?
I did. I did.
No, you said nya. Lame.
Yeah.
But last time we had beach episode. Yes. Childhood friends show up again, and Rebin becomes George Lucas and takes over the movie. But the most important thing that we need to find out from last episode, is Renan okay? Because he was kind of getting asphyxiated by a butt.
Yes. And I'm assuming that because after the whole thing that Renan's been going through, I think it might be suffering some buttophobia or something. Because it gets really scared for a while, actually.
Yeah. But that's the one thing is we don't know if Renan's okay or not. Because
Yet.
Yes. She's kind of just sitting there. And then they start filming again on the beach with what's her name? Childhood friend Kinoshita. Is doing the thing on the thing.
With the thing, with the person with the thing, and they have the thing for the thing. Yes, that thing.
Yeah. But no, they're still filming, and then in the middle of a scene, she just whispers to Ichika, "Do you like him?" And Ichika does a thing.
Yes, totally catches her off guard.
Yeah. And Ichika's like, "Oh, if you want to play this game, do you like him?" And then all of a sudden Remen's like, "All right, we want another angle of this scene right here." And there's some crazy things. And then here she comes. Here comes Speed Arisawa, coming like a demon on wheels, going after Tetsuo. And Tetsuo just books it. Yes, I said Tetsuo and not Tetsuro.
Yes. Yeah, I know. And you got me saying it too, so I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm not even gonna fight it anymore.
And I think this scares Dito. So if you are an over-attached girl that wants to meet up with Dito, email Kita at ktdata.net. I'll give you his phone number.
I hate you.
It sounds like he might secretly like it, guys. But so now you got Tetsuro running around everywhere like crazy. And then, they take a break after all the filming and everything, kind of cut to it. And you see Kana sitting in her room. It's like, oh, well, Tetsuro, he's busy running off trying to avoid this girl. Ichika went somewhere. I might be alone with Kaito. Ooh. So she kind of...
Yes, this I found to be funny because she was trying to be inconspicuous. Kind of trying to be very inconspicuous to trying to get into Kaito's room to talk to him. And, she opens the door, gets in there, shuts the door behind her. Just looks around, doesn't notice he's there, and enter in our ninja Remen.
Yes.
She just pops out of nowhere.
Nowhere. Because, well, hold on. I think we need to do this periodically to the episode. We got to have a Renan check. Because keep in mind, Kaito is sharing a room with Tetsuro, and that's where the asophobia was developed.
Yes.
Poor Renan's still laying there, and Kana doesn't do anything about it. But when you turn it on, there's Remen right there, and then they start talking, and Remen's like, "Oh yeah, I know how. I can tell how Kaito feels about Ichika." And Kana's like, "Can you kind of tell me?" And what happens is like, "Sure, if you want to have a chat," and she pulls out, name it, Dito.
Pulls out can versions of Dynamite drink.
Yes, I love it. It's in a can now, from the pitcher into a can. What I want is Dr. Ginger and some Dynamite drink. Oh.
Don't combine the two. You may grow hair in your chest. Or other places.
So I don't know why you wrote that next line.
I don't know why I wrote that line either, to be honest. I don't know I think I was just in the middle of doing something I was in the middle of something, watching the show, and also in the middle of making dinner or something, and I wrote that, and I don't know why.
Okay,
so to be honest.
In my attempt to explain what Dito was thinking 2 days ago, So it cuts back to Tetsuo running around the city, not on his motorbike. Oh wait, wrong anime. Um, trying to get away from what is Arisawa? How do you say her name?
Arisawa.
Yeah, Arisawa. And she's still doing the Speed Racer thing. The reason why I call her Speed Racer is if you look at her hair, that looks like she came straight out of Speed Racer.
Go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer, go! I'm done.
Okay. But so he's running around and he runs into this alley, and you see Mio over. Come over here, and they hide, and then Arisawa just speeds across, and Mio's kind of talking to Tetsuro, and just saying that, oh, okay, we're. Thank you for not telling anybody about my secret because she was going commando in the last episode.
Yeah. For all those who didn't see that, the whole explanation of us a few episodes back asking, like, why in the hell is she sitting there with a panda covering her?
I rewatched the second episode. She was naked then too, but you only saw her for like 2 seconds, so it didn't really come to mind.
Yeah. But the answer comes out, guys. She is a nudist.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, no. You gotta kind of put this into context because Arisawa finds them hiding there because they were talking for a little too long, and she's trying to drag them away. And crap, I can't remember her name. Mio grabs onto Tetsuro's arm, and just saying, he doesn't want to go and stuff. And it's like, you're some crazy exhibitionist who doesn't wear panties around, getting a thrill off of that, thinking that somebody might catch you. And then she yells out, no, I'm a nudist. My whole family is nudists. And I've just been so used to it. And until I've went to school and noticed that was not the normal thing to do.
That shut them up really fast.
Yeah, they're like, let me try to recreate the look that they all had.
Please don't.
That is me trying to attempt to recreate the look. How close I got, who knows?
You be the judge.
And then after that, it cuts off to, well, of course, if there's Dynamite drink, we got to know what happens.
Yes.
And I honestly think that Kano is doing a power hour, which is drink 6 Dynamite drinks in 1 hour. I even stopped the video and counted the number of cans. Counting the one in her hand, there were 6 cans of Dynamite drink there.
Kano just did a power hour. That's hilarious. I love it.
And then, of course, Remen is just taking film of her in different costumes. And Kana's like, can you tell me now? Not until you put this costume on. And they just keep changing costumes while she's like almost passed out on the couch right now. That nice little comedic break, would we say? Then it cuts back into Mio over there. And this was an interesting use of camera angles and everything. Because you think Arisawa's still there. And Mio like just ends up confessing to Tetsuro that she likes him. And I love this because it cuts to the other side where you should be able to see Arisawa, and she's gone.
Yeah.
I mean,
I saw that too, and I was going, wow, she just ninja'd out of there.
Yeah, that was like the perfect like kind of thing right there. Excellent part right there. And so, he's kind of freezes right there, and it goes to a scene where what's the crap? Why don't I remember the other girl's name again? The childhood friend.
Kinoshita.
Anyways, Kinoshita is she kind of tells Ichika to meet with her at a temple somewhere or something. Yeah. And she kind of explains what you saw in the woods where it ended one episode It was I was crying because Kai said the same thing that my boyfriend told me, and that's the whole reason why I was in Okinawa anyways, because I wanted to get away and forget about it, enjoy, pretty much go on a vacation. And so, but when I saw Kai, I was just toying with him, and I got to say that, and I was just playing. I shouldn't get in your way. I apologize, and she walks away. This is my apology, and Ichika's going apology, and then right behind him, of course, is when Kai shows up.
Hmm.
Um,
And in a nutshell, the Ichika tries to tell Kai a little bit about what just happened with Kinoshita, but everything kind of just went to the wind as soon as the sun hit that right angle
yeah.
on the temple gateway, and they
Um,
just kind of
turn
yeah, they
around.
kind of like just forgot everything and
Just
just enjoyed the
this,
sunset
this was
from the
this
other side.
yeah. This is what I thought was funny. It was that scene wasn't really that breathtaking compared to some of the things they did. Like it wasn't bad, but it's not something I'd go, oh. But
I'd probably be that kind of person just going like, snap.
it's because you're Asian. Um, but
Yeah.
Ichika does this slime. I'm writing this down. I want to use this move sometime. Is their hands are right next to each other, so she kind of just grabs his, and then Kai returns the favor, and they're holding hands, looking at this archway. And that's the, I guess, romantic scene where
Yeah,
they
this is kind of
essentially
like this is
confess
the
to each
beginning.
other.
This is like
Yeah.
where it starts. The whole like romantic interest between our
Yes.
two characters just starts right here.
Yeah.
Continues to about when they get to the house that they're staying at, and go for it, Katie. I know you want to say this.
All right. So, they're walking back, and we get into this. Well, it's not even a stereotype in anime, it's a stereotype in most shows where your two main characters are just like about to kiss. They're like inches away from each other. They're about to kiss, and then all of a sudden, Kana comes up and goes, "What the meow are you doing?" And she's dressed in a cat cosplay, and
Cat
unfortunately,
made
yeah,
cosplay.
cat made cosplay, and unfortunately, I don't think. Oh, she's not here. Sister's not here because she would hate me for that. Somebody I know, not saying who, kind of meows sometimes. um, says
Katie,
that,
dig yourself in a hole.
and I just started cracking up. I knew it was coming too. That's the thing. I'm like, something's gonna interrupt him right then and there. But she's like, "What the meow are you?" She's plastered. Can't Kana is just
Yes.
totally plastered, and I'm just sitting there laughing my butt off. And
Of
then
all the
everybody,
ways to kill a mood, I don't think they could have executed any better than this way.
yeah,
Honestly.
and then everybody like shows up after that, and then it cuts to Kai's and Tetsuro's room again, and finally, Rinon, she's alive. She finally pops up, and then she goes, and it looks like she's pretty traumatized because she starts freaking out almost instantly, going type thing. So that was fun. That was good, and that was the end of the episode too, where she freaks out. So
Yeah.
in the next episode, you know, everybody's back at home, and Ichika's going a few more seconds than we would have, and it cuts to Kai. He's sitting on his futon, and going, "Oh, just a few more seconds than we could have," and then he makes out with a pillow.
Yeah.
I don't know why that got to me. It's not like I don't have any experience with making out with a pillow. How about you, Dito?
I can't I can't say I have any at all.
But if you've had experience with making out with a pillow, please email us, kita@ktdata.net. We'd love to talk to you. um, But
Please do.
and then yeah. So here's another update about Arinon. She's still freaking out. Like she's actually in the ship, like in the little control module, and she's freaking out. And you just see all these symbols, and I don't know what they say because they're written in alien. Do you? But it looks bad because it's all beeping and she's like, um, and we.
All I can all I can figure is something really bad's happening with the ship because since Renon is kind of like the ship's navigator, and yeah, I just figured something bad happened to this ship and
Ship.
didn't know really how to deal with it. I guess.
Yeah. And then I love this next scene. One, because I'm a big fan of toku or Japanese sci-fi effects. Two, I'm a fan of, people filming their own scenes. We go into this whole, and it's like it's a good 30-minute to 1 minute clip of Tetsuro and Kai shooting monster footage essentially, and it's using cardboard boxes. Tetsuro in a green lizard outfit, stomping along, trying to make it look like a giant monster's going through the city, and we have like jets on a string everywhere going around. Like low quality
Firecracker
effects.
jets. It's all there. It's just
Yeah, and you
it was awesome.
and they're making the sounds too, so they're like those kind of noises. I loved it. I loved every single part about this, and that's so awesome. Right there.
Just the whole like monster scene
Yeah.
stuff. Gow. It's like, oh god,
Yeah.
really? That's so fits this.
Yeah, and while they're doing that, Ichika's doing the laundry somewhere. Or no, she comes out. It's like, oh, you guys look tired. Here's some refreshments, and
Yes.
she hands the drink to Tetsuro. It's like, oh, thank you very much, and then the awkward moment where she hands the drink to Kai and their hands touch, and they're like, and then she's like, oh, I gotta go finish the laundry, and she just like runs away, and then Tetsuro's like, dude, did something happen between you two? They go hide under the stairs, which, okay.
Of all the places, like you're in a whole house, you have a whole house to yourself, and you go hide in the stairs.
Yeah, and I have a feeling the laundry room's like 2 feet away too. And Kai pretty much spills the beans on what happened. And then Tetsuro's going like, oh, okay. And this is another tribute to how I miss the days of using film. Is because Kana shows up and say, hey guys, we got the film developed. Yeah, kids. Back in the day before everything was digital, you actually had to send your film to a photo place or a video place so they could develop it before you could actually see it. It's freaking awesome.
Oh, the good old days. The good old days.
And they brought it back, and I actually like this because she was saying stuff, and it made sense what she said too. I'm like, okay, I'll go with that. But Mai has her hair cut, and Tetsuo just kind of goes, oh.
Yeah. This is at the same time where I figure if they're going to be using any more footage, like if she's going to be in any more footage, it's going to be a little weird because now she had longer hair in the older footage, and now if they use her again, they have short hair.
Hey, they use cardboard boxes.
It'll fix up an edit.
They use cardboard boxes for their sci-fi effects.
Yes.
I don't think they care too much.
And the funny thing too is the cardboard box is more believable than anything else.
I know. No, it's really funny because like when they show it, they show that whole scene through the camera, and it looks like real buildings. I'm like, how are they doing this? And then they cut it, and you see, oh, cardboard boxes. Okay, that makes sense. But like even when they're in the the cockpit scene, that looked pretty good. You have to admit, like that looked pretty good. And then it cuts to a cafe or something where Tetsuro's older sister, she's just like, and Remen shows up and's like, oh, and you'd think they wouldn't know each other, right? And Remen's like,
No, no. Matter of fact, not only do they know each other, but Remen calls Minami senpai. And
yeah.
I'm just going, oh
Uh,
boy. The thing that really made me laugh pretty hard about this one is when Minami asks, like, oh, so you're a high school student? And and Remen says this that made me kind of scared at the same time, or at least a scary thought of it, that Remen does reply saying, I'm forever 17. And I'm just like,
hey, Dito, at least you didn't say I'm forever 21. Forever 21 does not endorse this
no, then I
podcast.
just want to burn down that store. I mean, that thing.
Yeah, if you guys want to sponsor us, ktdata.net. Um, you know, and you know, she hands her secret notebook of plans, and so Minami's like, "So why do you need my help?" "Oh, I just need you to do something," and it cuts off to I forgot where it cuts off. Oh no, it cuts off to Mai, Kana, and Tetsuro walking home. You know, and Mai walks off, and they're like, "Oh, they're kind of happy and everything." And we get to this point where it's just Tetsuro and Kana talking to each other, and he's about to confess, and then she turns around, "Hey, guess what? 2 more days, there's a festival." Totally, totally ruining his chance to do it.
Yeah.
And they cut to the festival right there, and this is becoming a recurring theme where Kana shows up all nice and spiffied up and everything, and she thinks, "Oh yeah, I look awesome. I'm gonna get noticed by Kai tonight." And then Ichika shows up, totally showing her off.
One upping her every time.
Yes.
Not even trying, mind you.
Yeah, not even trying. And Ichika, I love this. She just goes, "Oh, this is a festival. This is amazing." And they're like,
Yes. She just goes complete starry-eyed, just exactly like she was when going to Okinawa.
"Yeah,
Just now with food.
yeah." And well, even before the food, she just sees all the stalls, and then everybody's like, "Wait, wait, we got to show you the best part." And they just dish out all this food, and she's like,
Oh yeah.
"Ah!" And essentially every scene for the next 20 seconds, she's having some sort of food gasm. To do not.
Yeah, it's very true. But you can't have a festival with kids. I guess this is a Japanese high school tradition. I guess to have an event, but not be able to not get away with, mind you, test of courage.
I remember my first test of courage. Wait, no. So
I'm
Remen,
not gonna get. I'm not gonna get in that one.
Remen showed up, and she's like, "Well, we have to, do. It's not a festival without that." So they show up in front of a dark, scary shrine that you have to climb up the hill to go to. And she's like, "All right, it's pretty easy for this test of courage. Just gotta go up to the shrine, make your tribute, and then come back. Oh yeah, and you guys are gonna do it in pairs." Um, and the funny thing is, so Kana's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be alone with Kai, yay!" And then Kai's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be alone with Ichika, yay!" And I don't know how Remen does this, but in her manipulative drawing ways, we get Mio and Tetsuro as a pair. We get Kai and Kana as a pair, and we get Remen and Ichika as a pair.
Yes.
Yes. So,
And there we have it.
Dito, you can explain this next part. Because
So
I don't want to take the thunder out of it.
of course you wanna take the thunder out of this, because why not? But in the top, we see that well, first off, Mio is being, just completely scaredy cat about this. Attaches herself to one of the stone statues, and from there, Tetsuro, you got me saying it. I'm just gonna go with this. Tetsuro manages to get her all the way to the top of the temple, put the offering on there, and sure enough, they turn around and there is what appears to be a ghost that scares the living crap out of them. And a second later, they find out it's Minami, which is Tetsuro's older sister. And because of them getting scared to halfway to hell, next thing you see them getting on top again, they find themselves on top of each other and have actually planted lips.
I don't know what's with animes, but that has never happened to me in real life.
No, and if it probably did, it'd be a very awkward situation. Something that would probably end up in Vegas and stays in Vegas.
Mm-hmm. If you're a girl out there that wants to try this out, please Ktdata@ktdata.net. It's for scientific research, okay? I want to figure out if this is even physically possible.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure it's physically possible. Probably possible.
How do you know, Dito?
Don't
ruin this moment for me, Dito.
I have to.
Kita@ktdata.net. Especially if you're a redhead.
I must ruin KT's moment.
So, and Remen, of course, in her mastermind is trying to scare people, so she's obviously ditched Ichika, and she's filming the two making out. All of a sudden, so Ichika's all alone, and she hears this noise behind her, and she turns around, and she thinks it's a ghost, but it's really Renan freaking out, and she's like, "Oh, Rina," and she screams, and then so keep in mind that Kai and Connor are alone right now. Kanna's on the verge of just admitting her feelings to him, and Kai hears Ichika scream, and she's like, "Kanna, stay there," and he just books it out with no flashlight either. Just books it towards that direction. And what we find out is that Renan, the reason why she was freaking out the whole entire time is because she was trying to stop a distress signal from the ship being sent out. And apparently this distress signal is getting a ship that's coming towards them right now. And as the... and it's an unmanned rescue vehicle pod thing.
There you go.
That
of Doom.
Of Doom. That shows up, and so it's about to do what yeah, I was gonna say hoover. It's about to hoover her up into the egg.
Rescue
her. Kai comes and grabs her arms, and they just run. So the egg turns into this robot-looking walking thing and chases after them. And Ichika is like, get away, Kai! This is your chance right there. And an ode to Tenchi Muyo. Kai grabs a stick and goes at this robot with a stick and tries to chop it down with a stick, which obviously fails and beats the living crap out of him with one arm.
Not necessarily. It beats the crap out of him. It knocks him off the edge. Renan comes in with
Renan.
So Renan, because there's
Renan,
and then Renan. Renan flying Renan.
Renan flying Rina.
Rina. Sorry, I actually have it written there. Rina. So Renan flies Rina, which is just a small spacecraft, to save Kai, and then turns around trying to save Ichika again.
And so apparently Rina doesn't have any weapons. So you do the crazy thing by full speed ahead! And right at the last second, Kai jumps out and catches a flying Ichika away from that as the Rina crashes into the robot. And you see the robot, the eye does the HAL thing where it just fades away. And it cuts back to the scene. You see Kai's glasses have fallen off. And you see that Ichika lands on Kai. Kai's not moving, and it cuts to the glasses, and they're all bloody. And then, of course, the glowing light orb shows up again, and the blood disappears from the glasses and everything. Orb disappears, and then Kai wakes up, and all you hear Ichika say is, "I'm sorry, I'm 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 sorry." Then the whole crew kind of shows up because they heard all the commotion. "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." End of episode.
You can stop now. That is, I think everyone gets the point of that. But I can't. At this point itself, because it seems like Kaito got put in the same situation again. I'm already thinking that maybe is Kaito already dead from the because he got badly injured the first time, but is he actually just already dead or something? And this is about where it cuts off in the show right now.
Yeah, and so I almost cheated because we're actually so Anno's actually one episode ahead, so technically I could find out what happens, but I decided to be good and not watch it yet.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
We don't want to give spoilers away before we can spoil it anyways.
Yeah. I'll watch it an hour before the next time we record Kita.
Because that's how we do it here at Kita.
Yeah. Speaking of dead people, they make an appearance in our next anime. And our next anime is Shakugan no Shana Final. And it's brought to you by Flying Robots. They go out with a big boom!
For the people who have been following this as well, last time Phileas owned Yuji. Our mad scientist likes pinching robots. Yeah. And Shauna throws a lot of rings.
Feels like Sailor Moon. So,
yes,
what I thought at the end of the next episode is that those rings, I'm gonna get a big explosion, right? Maybe not. Turns out those rings were designed to go rewrite the spell that's actually circling around Hecate right now to add a rule to the new world they're creating. The Tomagara that actually show up there won't be able to nom on human spirits.
No Nami, no nom.
So, this is, then it kind of cuts back to all the other people. Oh, big thanks to dude on YouTube who commented and let us know the name of the couple on the Flying V. In my infinite brightness, I, one, didn't write down your name, and two, didn't write down the other two names. But I really appreciate that you left the comments.
Thank you for your comments. Ice cream XKND number. Yeah, we do appreciate it.
Yeah, you see who's more prepared than I am. It's obviously not me. He's all the brains behind this.
Yeah, right.
So, the dude with the whatnots, he actually makes a rock lion and starts. So first he tries to get the robots to smash into each other or shoot each other. That didn't work. So he decided to make this giant rock lion. Crushed a few, but another dude tries to interfere, and it causes the rock lion to disintegrate. And it cuts back to the battles of our Earth gods, which I've been dying to see them fight so much more because their powers are just seriously crazy. They're not even breaking a sweat when they're fighting, and they're just totally demolishing everything around them. And they're asking, why are you guys still doing this? Because this battle seems to be not worth it since Sean already got the rings up there. And they're like, we're doing this for a reason. Once this new world's created, you guys will not be able to eat any humans. And we want to leave the biggest reminder possible that you guys eating humans causes bad things. So we're going to kill as many of you guys possible so you guys can realize how much of a sacrifice this is, how much of like what it costs for you guys to get into this new world, and the price that it takes for you to eat humans is millions of us. And that's their goal. They're like, we want to make a statement right here. We're doing it to the leaders. We're doing it to all you guys who think you're gonna have a good life. You know, it's gonna have restrictions.
I found that like their whole like reasoning behind this, and just like, geez, talk about you're gonna scare someone into submission. Crap.
Yeah.
That's quite literally what it was. It's like, you know, that's all their whole purpose was, is just to scare them.
Yeah,
and to basically let them know, like, you know, this is exactly what's going to happen if you're going to do this. You know, this, you are now the reminder saying that for the future generations that cannot consume humans, this is exactly where you came from. And I just found it to be like, oh crap, you know, maybe these guys aren't as nice as I thought they were.
Yeah.
They're like actually pretty vicious.
And the thing is, like, normally when people make claims like this, they can't back it up. These guys can back it up.
Oh, they can back it up with that and 10 times more behind it.
Yeah. Oh, here's the name of the couple. It's Saleh and Shiara, or
Chiara. Yeah, I put it right there.
Chiara. They're battling.
Sail. Somebody they say sail.
Yes,
you know.
Sail and
Chiara.
And Tiara and Tiara. Sail and Tiara. Sails on tiaras. Are trying to
Sails
go
on tiaras. You know, at Mervin's.
Yeah.
Check it out this weekend.
They're trying to battle the mad scientist in his tower of doom and his giant robots that are crazy. And always the mad scientist, he has some crazy plan. And apparently all these robots, they have a antimatter bomb in them. Or as he calls it, the ultimate dispensing circle. So when they are actually destroyed, they make a black hole and sucks in everything around them for 30 meters. Friend or foe.
Yeah. I still say that this guy still has the worst naming skills I have ever met or seen in any anime so far.
I like his names. It allows me to yell them out crazily.
Okay, yes, you do have a point there. You do a good job at that.
I mean, like, I didn't name one of my creations Tito!
No, you did. Wait.
Don't call me Papa. Don't call me Papa. And so...
Don't tempt me.
Yeah, we're back to the hippie van, you know, running around like crazy. They try to run, but they run into Tomagara to the left, Tomagara to the right, Tomagara to the forward, Tomagara to the back. So they're pretty much driving straight towards the tower, the opposite direction of where they want to go. They just wanted to hightail it out of there, and which leads them to become a aerial target because they shoot off a cliff. And
yeah, so what happened is that there was a mist that has been, you know, certain parts of the area that made their van lose control and just bolted straight for the tower and hit a hill and became airborne and became the aerial target.
Mm-hmm. And you see everybody like in that area just aim cannons and whatnot and just shoots it and explosions.
Aim and fire. You just yeah.
That's the explosions I was looking for. And Shauna and Yuji look down because they're still busy making out fighting style, and they're like, "Oh no, Yoshida!" And it looks like it's blown up and everything, but luckily it cuts to them, and it shows that Yoshida is perfectly okay, and it's because the boss or the head on the hippie vehicle, his unrestricted spell is the Kuranomi no Kasa, and what it does is it creates a fake image or a decoy, and they had that actually a little bit behind them, so people were actually shooting behind them and not at them, and it made it look like it blew up and everything. So they manage, and then the old man does his thing that he does, whatnot, with his giant thing that he holds.
And essentially, he puts up a protection barrier and takes the grunt of the blows from the explosions that's happening behind them.
Yeah, like after you see half of his body is just entirely burnt up. It's black. So they're there and they're surrounded, of course. So they see this little opening, and all of them try to get over there. And then the old man's like, "I'll hold these guys off," and he does his Hishin Giant Rock Gundam, and transforms into Rock Gundam, which of course is awesome and amazing because he just totally owns everybody. And Tito wants to make a prediction right now.
My prediction is that this is maybe the last time we're going to actually see both Kisham and the Behemoth at this point.
I don't know.
I just have this really bad feeling that we're going to be seeing the last of the old man. I mean, I think he's an awesome character.
Yeah, I like him, because it's just like this little kid, but he's like the wisest out of all the groups. If you see how he fights and everything, you can tell there's a sophistication of experience and everything in how he fights, and it's not as reckless.
Yeah, it's very true. And speaking of, superiority in fighting and showing your experience in battle, Carmel seems to have finally got her act together and decides to join her comrades in the fight. Seriously.
Yeah, she was kind of being the third wheel in this date that Yuji and Shana was having. Actually, she was the fifth wheel.
Yeah, some odd numbered wheel.
Yeah, because we also have Marjorie and crap, what's the other guy's name?
Which one are we talking about now?
Metamorphosis. Yeah, there we go. The general metamorphosis. There's 4 of them fighting.
Strange or something. Yeah. Strange. Something it's like STOTH, something like that.
But so they join in, and of course, keep in mind these robots still will cause a black hole when you kill them. And you want to do this.
Yes, I do want to do this. So one of the robots is about to self-destruct on our Rock Gundam, and it uses its rocket punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I see what you did there.
I couldn't help that one. As soon as I saw his rocket punch, I just had to say that because why not? I mean, I guarantee anyone who's ever watched this at least get a chuckle out of that. At least a face palm. Yeah.
If you guys don't like our puns, Ktdata.net. So, and it's all out war right now. And so, you ever heard of a missile being soft to land on?
No, I never heard that before.
Well, apparently, Sale says it's possible, because Sale's the guy, right? Yes. So he's doing his crazy acrobatics, whatnot, and you think he's gonna die, but no, he just lands on a missile. A couple of them actually, and he kind of has a vendetta against the Doctor, as we can see. So he does this crazy reckless thing where he's gonna fall, and then Chiara, or however you say her name, comes in on her floating arrow of light, trying to save him. And the Doctor's like, not yet. not yet. And then he instead of having a normal missile command switch where you have the safety cover and everything, he has wine bottles. So he
Not
pops the
just not just not just wine bottle. It's like switches curved around with a wine bottle on it. And go for it, KT.
yeah.
I know you want to go with this.
So he pops the cork on it, instead of having the little clear plastic safety thing, and then what pops up is another cork, and it's red. Well, the button it pops up, the red button's right there, and so as Sally's trying to grab Chiara's hand, the other dude, whatnot, that really doesn't do anything in this episode, shoots an arrow and causes him to fly away, and the doctor's like, "Now!" Presses the button right there. And we think like, oh crap, we're gonna see another Flame Haze die right here.
But okay, so here's the greatest part too about this whole scene. You would assume in the split seconds that they've been showing like how long it takes for one of these robots to explode, which is within about 5-6 seconds or so. This 30-second span to a good 45-second span shows Sale, the Doctor, and Chiara all do these like elaborate things. Example, Sale somehow manages to, after the button's pushed, to grab the robot, throw it all the way back up to the tower command center. While there, the Doctor is like, I expected this, tries to hit the escape switch that, it was deactivated by Yoshida and the crew, who came in through that same door where the Doctor's supposed to be escaping from, and shut off the power from there. And manages to, blow the Doctor up in this whole point. And at this point, for everyone who's actually watched a lot of anime, as much as both me and KT have, we've declared this the DBZ syndrome.
Yeah. Oh man. The funny thing is that when you watch it, there's actually really no explainable reason why the escape route didn't work, other than the fact that Yoshida and the crew were sitting on the tracks.
No, they explain that they shut off the switches. They shut off all the power in the area, so there's no one there.
Yeah,
because when they
they're just, well, they said it's not powered up, and they're just like, all of a sudden they see the track light up and they're like, what? And nothing happens.
Yeah.
And of course we see the Doctor do pretty much his oh crap moment. And
yes, and I've determined that the Doctor is the mad scientist Doctor is probably the best comic relief in the show, hands down.
Yes. Much more comic relief than you'll ever get from me and Dito. We're actually dry people.
Yes, actually. I just wish I could be as that crazy and also that entertaining.
I'm just that crazy, so.
Yeah.
Maybe I can go to school and learn or find a YouTube video. So the Mammon guy who's been interfering, whatnot, totally just gets swiped in half during this moment because he's like, "Oh crap, the Doctor's gone," type thing, and Sally just comes in, cuts in half.
Chiara comes in.
Chiara comes in, cuts him in half, and for some odd reason, that kid that's always in that furry outfit shows up. Keeps him from having a death blow, and he's like, "Get out of here!" And Mammon, such a I don't even know why they put him in here, because he's in here for like 2 episodes and pretty much doesn't do anything other than like throws one spell at him. Sucks up all the robots near him because he's like, "Don't you know, all these robots, since there's no command center, they're all going crazy now and they're gonna blow up." Sucks all of them to save the tower. Yay for random peon you can just blow up in 2 seconds. And
yes. We need more of them.
Unfortunately, our old man, though, he's surrounded by a lot of those robots, and they blew up. Sad.
Yes. But then it cuts back to our dastardly duo facing off between the I forgot his name again. The Thousand Forms and Yuji.
Yeah.
And this is about the same time when the spell, because was it Pelibin?
Yeah.
What was her name?
Third Eye Lady.
Third Eye Lady.
And yeah, Yuji's like,
down.
Yuji's like, I got one more plan. I got my backup plan right there, and she releases all these spells that go up, and they're all going towards Hecate and the sphere that's growing over there. And Hecate's like, I still feel sick, and Shauna's like, oh, we got you right. Or Marjorie's like, oh, while you guys were busy fighting, I snuck in and kind of added the same modifications to your backup plan right there. So you're screwed.
Yeah, I found this to be like one of the more interesting plot developments here, because they kind of saw through like all their plans in a sense, but in the end, they're really just, I don't know if they're really just out to, like, in a sense, bone them, or what the Flame Haze's like real attention is, because they're gonna let them basically have their own world, but it's almost no different from where they are now.
Yeah. It's not gonna be their Xanadu paradise, but
Yeah,
I guess it just gets them off Earth. So here we are at the end of the episode. Who knows what happens? You know what's sad though about this anime? I don't think I really care that much about Yuji and Shauna fighting. I am enjoying seeing all the side characters so much more than what's happening between Yuji and Shauna.
Well, we are at episode 22. You know, our next episode is going to be pretty much our last one, I believe, going to be of Shauna, because it goes to 24. So we have 2 more episodes to figure out what might be going on. I'm actually enjoying it now. You know, I was enjoying the show the entire time, but you know, like a roller coaster, has ups and downs. So hopefully we can put a recap on next week's episode or next time.
Yeah. And speaking of speaking of endings, we're at the ending of this show. So, you know,
dun dun dun.
If you guys, Tito, I don't think I've mentioned our email address at all during this episode. But
I don't think you have. You know, you want to throw it out there for the people.
It's Kita, Kita, at ktdata.net. ktdata.net. You know, ktdata.net. ktdata.net. That stuff.
Also, check us out on Kita. Not Kita, because we are on Kita.
Yes.
Check us out on ktdata.net for our shenanigans and all our other reviews. You may be able, if you've been reading the website, you noticed that we did put up the first day to Anime Salt Lake. We'll be getting the second day up here really soon. Check us out then, and also my game reviews for Tales of Grace's F for the PS3.
Tito hasn't been sleeping because of that.
No, I haven't. Thank you, Tales Games, for not making me sleep, because that's what they do.
And the nice thing is that since we record this every 2 weeks, come watch us live, March 27th. Be there at ktdata.net/live. Be there live because it's amazing. The chat room there is amazing. They have no idea what we're talking about during this whole entire episode and just have their whole own conversations. And they think this is pre-recorded because somehow one of the broadcasters, ow, that was my elbow, mysteriously is typing along in the chat room, you know? Interacting and everything. Like I said, the conversation they had during this episode, not related to anything to this anime. So if you want to meet some cool people, head on over there, ktdata.net/live, March 27th, or just hang out there. I broadcast randomly. Other than that, social networks, KTData, Dito, Ahoy, or Ahoy Baby on all the other social networks and whatnot. And that's pretty much it. So until next time, my friends. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Here we go. Hey, Dito, you know what time it is?
Yes, I do, KT. It's about time, but I don't think we can make jerky out of that.
Well, in this episode, we talk about seated in his crotch.
Call me.
Let me give you his phone number right now, 801. No. We're going to have an interesting key tower where Dito goes, and Shauna!